Hello again, XDA TV. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Yureka. Now I have gone ahead and done a full written review over on the XDA site if you'd like to take a look at that. If you're seeing this video from an embed in that post, don't worry about it. Continue reading the article, there is a lot of good stuff in there. But if you are not familiar with the Yureka, it comes with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 processor. It's a 5.5-inch 1280 by 720 display. It's got 2 gigs of built-in RAM, it's got 16 gigs of storage, a micro SD card slot, 2 SIM card slots, 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, 5 megapixel front-facing camera, a 2500 milliamp hour removable battery, and it comes running Cyanogen OS out of the box. It came running CM11S, and now it's running Cyanogen OS 12 Lollipop. So this is one of the few devices you can actually get at this point with Cyanogen on it out of the box. Anyway, moving on to the review of the device. Performance, as you would probably expect, it's got the Snapdragon 615 in it, so it's not gonna be absolute top of the line, flagship, anything like that. But it's also not the bottom of the pack either. The 615 is right sort of middle of the road. It definitely gets the job done, and it goes to show that a lot of the stuff that we do on Android doesn't really need the top of the line specs that a lot of people are really, going after. For my day-to-day type stuff, the 615 is definitely more than capable. The UI, since it's just Cyanogen, which is basically just stock Android with tweaks on top of it, it's running just fine. I haven't really had anything issue-wise. The display, it's only 720p, so it's not going to be the absolute best thing you've ever seen, but the viewing angles are good, it's got good coloring. I haven't really noticed the pixels or anything. I mean, I'm not like sticking my face up on it to check or anything, but it looks pretty good to me. Like I said, it's not flagship quality, it's not a 4K display or anything, but for the most part, I haven't found that I've needed it. 1080p on most devices is more than enough for me at the moment. 720p, it's still perfectly fine for me. The camera, it's again doing a pretty decent job. The video quality is okay. The pictures are more than okay in decent lighting. In low lighting, they're all right. I'm not going to absolutely throw them out or anything, but it's not something that I would really go using. More often than not, if I were going to use this camera, I would just make sure that I had good lighting. Make sure that I had lights bright like these on or something like that. Now, as far as the audio, I'm kind of two minds about this one. I've been using the Galaxy S6 a lot lately, and the Galaxy S6 has bottom-facing speakers. I'm not a fan of those because my finger and my hand tends to get in the way of them. This one has a back-facing speaker, so that's, I guess, a little bit of a plus, but it's a back-facing speaker, which means all of the sound that comes out of this is going that way, which is not great. Now, if you cup your hand around it, you can get the sound to kind of pipe around and hit you in the face, but you have to put your hand at sort of a weird angle to do that. So again, I'm not really a huge fan of that, but it does put out a decent amount of sound. I just kind of wish that sound was coming this way instead of that way. As far as the build quality, it's put together decently well. I mean, you can pop the back off and you can sort of see and feel how everything's put together. It's very plasticky, but at the same time, it's very solid plastic. And the fact that you can remove the battery and replace it, that's always a very handy feature to have. And speaking of the battery, it's okay. I didn't really have a great chance to test it because unfortunately, where I'm here in the States, the 4G on this does not work here in the States. I tried it on AT&T only because that's who I'm with. But from what I've read, the bands just aren't supported here in the US for 3G or 4G, so this has only been on 2G here. I did give it a test. I took it out a couple of times and I tried to use it. But when you're talking about 128 kilobits per second, that's the kind of speeds I was seeing on this. This is not something I was going to be using as my daily driver. But that does get back to the I couldn't really test the battery thoroughly because it wasn't using 4G and I wasn't able to use it as a primary device because of that. The battery life though, it did seem okay. 2500 milliamp hours with a relatively lower resolution display and a middle of the road processor. It lasts a pretty decent amount of time. Unfortunately, the battery doesn't support quick charging. It says that it should on the Qualcomm site, but I don't think that it actually does because when I plug it in with a quick charger, it doesn't say anything about it. Maybe that's a software limitation. Maybe Cyanogen and AOSP and everything doesn't support it out of the box. Maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, just to go ahead and wrap things up, if you are looking for a good, inexpensive device and you're in an area where this works on 4G, India, maybe other parts of Asia, this is definitely not a bad device to have. It equates to about 140 US if I remember correctly. It's like 9,000 rupees in India. So if you're looking for a good device, this is an excellent size. It compares very nicely to the OnePlus One, although again, it doesn't match it spec for spec, but for most of the everyday tasks, it's gonna work just as well. It's got a pretty decent camera, it's got a removable battery, micro SD card storage, it's got all of the things that you would really want in a phone for a really good, reasonable price tag. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything else that I've left out, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. But remember, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below the video. We definitely appreciate it. Subscribe to receive more videos from us whenever they become available, and I will see you guys again next time.